Many people experience what I'm going to share with you today, but so many people run for it, from it. I don't want you to do that, so stay tuned. Hello, my lovelies. It's your girl, Celestine, the Purpose Coach, here with mypurposecoach.com. How are you? So, today is growth tip number 8, and I want to share with you what God shared with me this morning. So, I was having a conversation with a friend today, and they were sharing some things they went through, and I had to share with them that I had gone through the same thing and had responded the same way, but I had to months later, years later, had to learn how to go through this thing another way. Well, what am I talking about? I'm talking about testing. Job 23, verse 10 says, in the New King James Version, but he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Listen, I love that scripture. I remember when I was laid off from engineering, trying to figure out what God wanted me to do, and he led me to what I'm doing now. But he gave me this scripture, and at first I was like, oh my gosh, I got to go through more testing. But then it gave me some peace of mind to know that he was going to make sure that I came through as pure gold, that I became the daughter that he needed me to be through the business that he had called me to. He was going to make sure that I endured the testing and I made it through. But listen, I would love to say that I passed each test with flying colors. I did not. Let me give you an example. So, in business, I choose to do in person events and speaking engagements and virtual events to get leads in my business. And I remembered when I started doing that during the pandemic, it was new to me. I'd been doing it in person, but now I'm doing it virtually. And I wasn't getting the response I wanted. I would do mega events and I would do a master class, and I would have maybe sometimes nobody sign up. So then I would be discouraged for weeks or months. And then I would get back on the horse and I would try again. And maybe a few people, one or two, signed up. And then they didn't show up during the event. And so then I would get discouraged and I wouldn't show up either. I'm like, well, if nobody's here, I'm not going to speak. But then I remembered something that one of my coaches said, and they said, you've got to go through the testing. You have got to develop your spiritual muscle as well as your professional muscle. In other words, if you can endure nobody showing up and you show up anyway, it creates that energy of diligence and commitment that is needed to press through. So I started to do that. If nobody showed up, I showed up and I did the training anyway. And guess what happened? After one or two times of nobody showing up and then only one or two people showing up, then the registration started to increase. And then people started to show up. And then I started to have one page on Zoom of people attending and then two pages. And I got excited, but I had to endure. So, what does testing do for us? Everybody's got to go through testing. You're not the only one. I'm not the only one. We all have to go through testing. We have to go through testing for sanctification spiritually, but also if you're a woman of the Lord Most High, if you're a daughter of the Lord Most High, a woman of faith, you're going to have to endure testing in your business. So understand that sometimes you're going to put all your energy and effort into something and it's not going to work out. And sometimes it means there might be one thing that you need to tweak, or it may just mean that you need to keep showing up to show your commitment to your audience and to God, that you're committed to what He's called you to do. So the first thing that testing does for us, it creates resilience, and resilience builds strength. Listen, you're going to have to endure a lot of things as you grow in business. And when you're going to the next level, there's even more things that you got to endure. So it helps you to be resilient and say, listen, I'm going to show up no matter what the numbers are, or no matter what happens. I can do this and I can stand it. I'm going to show up. The second thing it does is it helps you to grow and gives you growth and learning opportunities. What did I learn from that? Well, I learned that eventually people will catch on and they will show up. And I also learned how to do the marketing, and I learned how to change the way I'm thinking so that I can press through. The third thing testing does is it helps to increase your commitment and your credibility. Listen, I showed up even though nobody was there. I went through the 1 hour training. I did the whole training. I recorded it. It gave me an opportunity to record my training. It gave me an opportunity to burn my flesh and my ego, because your ego wants people to show up and to cheer you on, right? And so what it did is it helped me to develop my commitment to my community no matter what, and to my commitment to God, that this is what he's called me to do. This is what I'm going to do regardless of numbers. And what did that do? Because I started to show consistently, one, because I was committed, then it built my consistency, which then showed my audience that I was serious, and it built my credibility. So listen, if you are not willing to go through the testing, and listen, showing up for your audience, regardless of numbers, it's just one test that you're going to go through. There's so many other tests that you have to endure. You got to endure the ego test. You've got to endure friends and people dropping off. You got to endure the unsubscribe test. Listen, I didn't pass that test the first time, but now it doesn't bother me at all. There's so many tests in business that you are going to have to pass. And so I encourage you to allow yourself to be tested in business. He's going to test your ego. He's going to test your commitment. He's going to test whether you have the resilience to keep pressing on regardless of what you are seeing. Because listen, as women of faith, we're supposed to walk by faith and not by sight. Well, I hope you enjoyed this grow tip today. And remember, I want to invite you to my Grow Summit, which is at the end of this month. People are signing up. And listen, if you enjoyed this, you are going to enjoy the 8 speakers plus myself, and the stories that we're going to share, and the strategies that God has taught us to help us grow our business from within. We're going to be talking about faith. We're going to be talking about abundance. We're going to be talking about how to become the new you that it talks about in Ephesians 4, verse 22 to 24. Instead of building your business with the old you, we got to build it with the new you. So check this out. All right, don't forget to register at growfromwithinsummit.com. This is a 3-day summit, 2 hours a day, 3 speakers each day. And we are going to do a deep dive into how to grow your business from within. Listen, somebody asked me today, well, I have a nonprofit. Is it for me? Yes, it's for you too, because listen, running a nonprofit is running a business. And so you're going to have to learn how to grow that from within as a daughter of the Lord Most High. So go ahead and register. You can find more information at growfromwithinsummit.com. And I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.